Hi, I'm Teresa Lyons, creator of Navigating Autism and Eat to Heal Autism. And today's Ask Dr. Lyons question is, why is fish oil commonly recommended for those with autism? Well, let's go to PowerPoint.
Why is fish oil recommended? Well, I'll answer that. Here we go. It's recommended for good fat. That's the short answer. That's also known as essential fatty acids. Fat makes up the majority of our nervous system, including our brain. Humans need essential fatty acids such as omega-3 and omega-6. We can't make them ourselves, so we must get them from food. Omega-3, the best sources are flaxseed oil, hemp oil, and chia seeds. And omega-6, the best sources are evening primrose oil, safflower, sunflower, walnut, and hemp oil. Now, in the standard American diet, we actually do not have deficiencies in omega-6 because it's in a lot of the processed foods and a lot of the grains that we eat. So omega-6 is not something that we really concentrate on too much because for most people in their diet, they're getting ample omega-6. It's really the omega-3 that needs to be increased in the diet. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about omega-3. There are two compounds that are derived from omega-3. You probably have heard of at least the abbreviation, EPA and DHA. That's really hot topics. So those two acids come from omega-3. DHA is concentrated in the prefrontal cortex, which is important for association and short-term memory, as well as in some retinal cells. So DHA, you can just think of it as it's important for the brain and the eye. And the same thing holds true for EPA. It's similarly important for brain development as well as for eye function. For the body to make EPA and DHA from omega-3s, the body also needs vitamin B6, B3, vitamin C, magnesium, and zinc. Now those vitamins and minerals might be sounding alarm bells in your mind because if you have been doing a lot of autism research, you know that B6, B3, C, magnesium, and zinc, many times those with autism are deficient in those vitamins and minerals. So that's why someone with autism, you typically can't just supplement with omega-3 because the body's not able to convert it into EPA and DHA, which is what is needed as well. Cold water fish. The best food sources of these oils are cold water fish, such as salmon, sardines, trout, eel, mackerel, algae, although not many people like to eat algae, herring, and haddock. And of course, we can't forget cod liver oil. Cod liver oil. So let me just talk about that for a minute or two. Cod liver oil contains the long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, which is important. Our body does need that. It also contains DHA and EPA. So this way, our body's getting the omega-3 and DHA and EPA. Our body doesn't have to convert all of the omega-3s to DHA and EPA. It's already provided. Cod liver oil also has coenzyme Q10, cholesterol, calcium, and vitamins such as vitamin D, A, and B12. And cod liver oil was a traditional source of vitamin D and was actually used to prevent and treat rickets. If you don't know what rickets are, rickets, nutritional rickets that is caused by a deficiency of vitamin D or calcium or both. So you can see how cod liver oil would certainly be beneficial against rickets. Essential fatty acid deficiency. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, how do I know if my child needs this or not? Well, the symptoms of essential fatty acid deficiency are dry, brittle hair, hair loss, dry or peeling skin, eczema, fatigue, aggression, excessive or diminished thirst, gallstones, immune deficiency, hyperactivity, growth impairment, and impaired wound healing. So those are the key symptoms of essential fatty acid deficiency. Now, potential problems. I get asked this question quite a bit, actually. It usually goes something like, my child can eat cold water fish, like salmon, sardines, any of that was on the list, but had a negative reaction to cod liver oil. What's going on? So a negative reaction could be either redness, maybe itchy throat, could also be meltdowns, increase in meltdowns, lack of sleep, things like that. So your child can eat the actual food, but when they're trying to take the supplement or the cod liver oil, there's a problem. So the answer is check the cod liver ingredients. Natural cod liver oil contains only about 18.7% by weight omega-3 fatty acids on average. But the supplement industry has 2 methods to concentrate and many more are being developed. I've actually read the research papers on the processes that are developed to increase the concentration of the omega-3 fatty acids as well as other acids. So when you're beginning to heal autism, you want the least processed anything. That goes for food, that goes for supplements. You do not want any other ingredients in there as much as possible. You want everything to be as pure as possible. So if someone says, my child can eat sardines, but when they take cod liver oil, then they have this particular type of reaction, I usually ask, okay, what is the ingredients? What were the ingredients in it? Well, was it flavored? And many times, yes, because cod liver oil, it has a particular taste. Many times the children react to the flavorings. There's also 2 different kinds of cod liver oil, one that is fermented and one that is not. The fermented one, I don't typically recommend trying until a significant amount of healing has been done. The other type of cod liver oil is, extremely very pure. Sometimes it's called extra virgin. And if you're interested in learning which brands I recommend and which I don't, please go to my website at awetism.net and sign up for my newsletters. I always keep everyone up to date on the top supplements, probiotics, all of that information. All of the top brands. I keep everyone up to date on my email list. So if your child can actually eat the cold water fish but has a reaction to the cod liver oil, the brand is not a good brand for your child at that particular time. Another question I usually get asked a lot. Well, fish oil is good, so I can just give a lot, right? Answer? No. So fish oil has vitamin A and vitamin D, which are fat-soluble vitamins, meaning your body doesn't get rid of them every morning when you take your morning pee like it does for, let's say, vitamin C, which is a water-soluble vitamin. You don't really want to give a lot of vitamin A and D, so you don't want to give too much vitamin A and vitamin D since they're fat-soluble, and they will just accumulate in your child's body. And it won't really be doing any good if the body's not using it. Vitamin D3 deficiency is associated with autism, so you might already be supplementing with vitamin D, so please keep both of those sources in mind. And if you want to learn more about vitamin D deficiency, I have another Ask Dr. Lyons video on vitamin D deficiency. Ongoing clinical trials. So a lot of people always then ask, well, what kind of research is there that proves I should be giving my child cod liver oil or something like that? So there is an ongoing clinical trial. There's 168 children with autism, and the clinical trial is ongoing in New Zealand. It's a randomized and blinded to one of the 4 daily treatments. So what this clinical trial is looking at is it's looking at vitamin D supplementation, DHA supplementation, a combination of vitamin D and DHA, or the placebo. And they're looking at this for 12 months, which is fantastic. And this is one of the first randomized controlled trials assessing the effects of both vitamin D and DHA supplementation on autism symptoms. So when I come across research like this, where an answer hasn't been definitively found yet, it at least makes me feel comfortable knowing that many different scientists and physicians have looked at this problem, have looked at a potential solution such as cod liver oil and vitamin D, and said that there's enough good scientific information that this could be beneficial. So let's answer the question if it could be beneficial. And that just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. It takes time to get answers. So when I know that something is this safe, you have an ongoing clinical trial, and then it just makes me feel a little bit more reassured when I give my child cod liver oil or anything like that. It's just that extra scientific validation that at least I'm not causing harm. Of course, everything has to be monitored, but it's always nice to know what kind of research is going on out there. And here are two references.